One of the biggest selling points to the Assassin's Creed franchise is that each game is an open world. It gives developers freedom to create an immersive world that suits the style of the game, and it allows players to discover. But with some of the things the developers add to these open worlds, they're only there for a very small percentage of players. These are Easter eggs that developers add to the games in hopes that players will come across them and share their experience with the rest of the community. And that's exactly what we're going through in today's video. We're going to be going through every Assassin's Creed title and highlight the best Easter egg from each. Some of these you may know, but most I imagine you won't. So firstly, Assassin's Creed 1. Even though this is the first entry into the Assassin's Creed series and was released way back in 2007, there are still many Easter eggs within the game, just not as many which are nodding to the franchise itself. One of these actually involves Optimus Prime from Transformers. And I know what you're thinking, that may be ridiculous, but in various places around the Assassin's Creed map, you can find windows that resemble Optimus Prime's truck form. We see it a lot within a lot of titles where Ubisoft show their appreciation for other popular films and games. It's awesome to see that this started from the very beginning and wasn't something that they picked up later down the line. And it's details like this that make it worth going all the way back to the very first title. Assassin's Creed 2. In Assassin's Creed 2, you can actually witness a giant squid. Within Venice, if you stare at the water for around a minute, a squid will appear. You'll first see it as part of a cutscene cinematic. Whilst looking down at the water, eventually the camera will detach away from Ezio and pan across the water where you'll be able to see that giant squid for the first time. Once the cutscene ends, you have your camera locked to Ezio again until you try to jump across that water or go in it, where a massive tentacle will jump out of the water and even startle Ezio, only for the tentacle to enter back into the water and you never see the squid again. This is a pretty interesting Easter egg and makes me only wonder that the person that found it must have been very fascinated with the water itself. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, this was really when Ubisoft was starting to get a hold of the whole story of what they were going to go through with the franchise. There were still many Easter eggs which pointed into other forms of entertainment, with it being other types of games and other types of films. But this was also the point in which Ubisoft started to go to a yearly franchise, and they had two initial games which were a massive success, and they also had several other titles in development in the background which were due to release after Brotherhood. This allowed them for some creative freedom. When Desmond leaves the Animus for the first time and is welcomed to Mario's villa within the present day, you can actually use your Eagle Vision ability and you will see red footprints. Now this is weird because there are no enemies available within this whole area, especially at this stage. These red footprints will start at the entrance of the Villa Auditore and go all the way up to Mario's room. When Brotherhood was first released, the theory was that somehow either Rebecca, Sean or Lucy were Templars, but most players lean towards this being Lucy's. With the ending of Brotherhood, Juno ends up forcing Desmond to stab her, and this was all foreshadowed because you can see Lucy's password for her email account was also Juno57. But to this day, there's still some fans that believe either Sean or Rebecca are also going to follow in Lucy's footsteps. And if they do, it will raise even more questions around the red footprints within Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed Revelations. In Assassin's Creed Revelations, you can disguise yourself as a lute player. When Ezio does this, he will actually sing songs about previous events and characters within the series. This isn't just one song either. There are multiple songs about different characters, and this varies in the game. Some songs will be from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, whereas others will be Assassin's Creed 2. This is a great nod to the hardcore fans who did play both of these titles and did recognize the songs in which Ezio was singing. Assassin's Creed 3. Around many houses in Assassin's Creed 3, you're going to find lots of laundry being hung up to dry. It seems normal. It's just Ubisoft's attempt to make a more immersive world by giving daily activities to the NPCs. But when you look closer and look at the laundry, you can see that this is actually arranged as the French flag. The French flag had nothing to do with Assassin's Creed 3. AC3 is set near Boston and New York between 1753 to 1783, the American Revolutionary War. So having a French flag has only led there being two main theories. The first theory is quite an obvious one. Ubisoft is a French studio, so having a French flag would make sense. The other theory is that this is pointing to Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, Assassin's Creed 3 was released in 2012 and Unity wasn't the next installment. It wasn't until 2 years later in 2014, which is when it was released, but it was in development at the exact same time in which AC3 was pushed public. And this is the theory that most people are leaning towards. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. In Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, there was actually a teaser of a future of Assassin's Creed which could be based in Egypt. Hidden in one of the emails in Abstergo's Entertainment's computers is a picture of an assassin looking at the pyramids in Egypt. The assassin is the same as the man leaked in the picture of the supposed Prince of Persia game from 2012. What's interesting about this is during this time there are articles out from higher ups at Ubisoft which have said that Egypt just wouldn't suit the style of Assassin's Creed. They were dead against the idea, but here is a picture pointing to an assassin within Egypt, so at least they must have considered it. And of course now we know that Egypt was a great place as it was the location for Assassin's Creed Origins. Let us know in the comment section down below whether or not you think that this is just a random image that Ubisoft placed with a random assassin, or whether or not they were hinting towards Bayek within Egypt for Assassin's Creed Origins all those years later. Assassin's Creed Rogue. In Assassin's Creed Rogue, Shay Cormac can encounter the Headless Horseman in the region of Sleepy Hollow in the River Valley area by visiting the graveyard of the old Dutch church at night. Unlike the Horseman's depiction in Assassin's Creed 3, he appears not on horseback but as a headless Grenadier. He fights with naval axe and bombs like regular Grenadiers, but is almost invincible. He may only be killed by either being hung with a rope dart from a tree, which is somewhat ironic given that he hasn't got a head or neck, or you kill him by destroying the pumpkin atop his gravestone with pistol fire. This pumpkin glows yellow if viewed through eagle vision, indicating that is the target's objective. Assassin's Creed Unity. During one of the cutscenes in Assassin's Creed Unity, you can actually watch Napoleon find and take the Apple of Eden. This happens when he is out of focus in the cutscene, but you are able to see him reach to find it. Both Napoleon and Arno are looking for a hidden hatch. This will unlock a secret compartment, but Arno is there looking for a letter. And whilst Arno is focused on the letter itself, that is when Napoleon reaches across to quickly grab a chest, opens it, and you can see the golden glow hit Napoleon's face, only for Arno to ask whether or not he found exactly what he was looking for, when Napoleon quickly closes it and says yes. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is set within the heart of London, which means that there are plenty of trains in the area. All trains have their own unique numbers. Some of these numbers mean a bit more than others. One of the trains has the number 1191. 1191 is actually the year that the first Assassin's Creed game takes place. Another train has the number 1476. This is the year in which the story with Ezio began. And there are other numbers which represent key events that have happened within the series so far. And some have even speculated that there are other numbers which represent what's going to happen within the future. Assassin's Creed Origins. Within the massive open world that Assassin's Creed Origins carries with it, there's actually a reference to Indiana Jones. This is just a fairly small one. Upon entering one of the tombs, Bayek says, "Why did it have to be snakes?" Of course, being one of the famous lines within Indiana Jones where he does say, "Why did it have to be snakes?" Assassin's Creed Odyssey. While playing during present day in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you can open a cupboard revealing a rabbit figurine. This is a reference to Ubisoft's Rayman series, as this is the rabbit figure. Ubisoft's Rayman series started all the way back in 2009, just 2 years after the start of Assassin's Creed. And upon interacting with this figurine, it even says "Bois." Whilst this might not be the biggest Easter egg as part of the Assassin's Creed series, it's definitely one that fans enjoyed. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. By going to the east of Leicestershire in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will find a ruined old building. Anyone who has ever played Dark Souls will recognize this familiar scene as a resting point where the player regains their health and energy while monsters around them reset. To make it even better, Eivor can meditate by the bonfire and restore exactly the same thing as what you can do in Dark Souls. This being another great crossover and reference to another game within Assassin's Creed. And there you go, we have now gone through one Easter egg from every Assassin's Creed title. I deliberately selected Easter eggs based on whether or not I thought the rest of the community knew about them. There's some very popular Easter eggs which are part of these games and a lot of them, and I didn't want to give something that was well known to the community. So with that in mind, let us know in the comment section down below whether or not you knew about any of these Easter eggs or if any of them surprised you. If you enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend watching the next one, which is now available on screen. That video on screen will take you through the best thing about each Assassin's Creed. Similar layout to what we did today, except we're going to be going through the best thing about each title. So if you do want to see that, click that video and I'll be over there to guide you through each Assassin's Creed.